Chapter 5. The Journey Home. Nightmare, you don't seem so bad. Valor smiled down to the horse, patting its side of its neck. Maybe you're better suited to something like lightning, or what about night cloud? You're as black as a storm cloud. How does that work? Nightmare shook his head and grunted. You're talking to a beast, you know that, right? Sager laughed, walking beside them. His shield and sword were both put away as they traveled down the dirt road. He doesn't know or care if he called him either one of those things, so long as he's being fed. I just don't like the name Nightmare for something so tame. Now, had he been a hell beast, then yes, Nightmare would fit, but he's not, so it just doesn't. She sighed, looking to the horse's white mane. Maybe, Quicksilver? The horses snorted and nodded, seeming to like the name. She smiled. Quicksilver it is. Again, you're talking to a horse. Doesn't matter what you call it, it's a stupid beast. Funny, I thought the same about you when we met yesterday. She laughed softly. Yeah, I thought you were a man, so we're even. He laughed as well. That was kind of the point of hiding my face, so people wouldn't go easy on me because of my gender, or think I'm weak and take advantage of that. Good strategy, I'll give you that. You're a strange one, Elf. He shook his head. But you can handle your own, and for that you have my respect. Thank you. You have mine as well, as you are an imbecile, but you seem loyal to your friends, and like myself, can't stand to cheat. If you're talking about that swindling horse merchant back there, I only threatened him because I couldn't stand the sight of him trying to upsell you. As I said, can't stand to cheat. Her smile remained as she looked up to his face. Even on a horse, he was still taller than her. They continued to talk and to take stabs at one another's egos as they made their way further down the road. The sparse trees became thicker and grew in number as they got farther and farther away from Colin's ear, and closer to the forest that surrounded her home. We should stop for the night and make camp. It's getting dark out, and we don't need something finding us out here. True. Let's find a place to sleep for the night. She pulled on Quicksilver's reins, making the horse slow to a trot as they looked for a suitable resting place. There, by the river. She nodded towards the water. We can get a drink there and set up camp by the shore. We should keep away from the trees, as we don't know what lives in those shadows. Aye, aye, Captain. He smirked. At ease, soldier. She laughed, dismounting Quicksilver, leading him to the river. Sager laid his sword and shield against a large boulder never far from his reach as he stripped out of his armor. I'm going for a swim and could use a bath. He started to remove his tunic. You best do the same, Princess. Alright, first, don't call me that. And second, I already had a bath yesterday, so I don't feel like swimming. Well, aren't you a prude? He still smirked. And you're a pervert. She shrugged. Admit it, you just want to see me naked, don't you? And how do you know what word means anyway? I can read, and I do when I find the time. I saw that word in a book once. And no, I wouldn't mind it, but then, again, what man would in his right mind? She scoffed, crossing her arms as she turned her back to him to face Quicksilver, who had sank his nose and mouth into the moving water, ignoring them for the moment. He laughed at her reaction. Pretty smart. Can hold her own in the battlefield. but easily offended. Just like a woman. Just like a Neanderthal. Look, if you want to swim, I promise not to look. As for me, I don't care if you look. Frankly, I hope you like what you see. And I'll bet my last gold piece that it would be the first you've seen. Now, how could you know that? She turned back to face him, a scowl now crossing her face. I don't, but by that reaction, maybe it's true. And if it is, well, then maybe you're not such a prude, but a little bit of a closet slut. She gasped, and her face turned red as fire. She was appalled at that comment. How dare you? She ran towards him, meaning to slap wherever she could reach on him, but he caught her wrist and then the other one when she tried again. She became very predictable when angered. That's just bad form. He chuckled. You called me a slut. What did you think I was going to do? She struggled against his grip, but the grasp was too strong. Stop struggling. I don't want to break your wrists. His grip loosened as he watched her. Then let me go, animal. She tried to jerk her wrist away from him, but his grip tightened around them again. Okay, that's going to stop right now. I'm not an animal, a Neanderthal, or any of that. I'm a nomad, yeah, but I'm not an idiot. And I am no whore. I came out almost as a growl as she glared up to him. Now let me go. He released her wrists just as she jerked away from him again, throwing herself off balance. She fell with a shout on the grass on her side. He held out a hand to help her up. Told you not to struggle. She took the hand. Shut up and go take your bath. Will do, princess. He laughed loudly as he ran for the shore. Don't call me that, she yelled, loud enough to be heard back in Collintier, she thought. And what are you going to do about it? He faced her as he undressed. Princess Prude. Her blush darkened more from anger than from embarrassment. Stop. Is that an order, Princess Prude? Yes. Too bad you're not my commander, Princess Prude. He let his shirt drop to the ground, kicking off his boots. Last chance to turn your back, Princess Prude, or you're going to get a hell of a show. She scowled and smirked. Some gentleman you are, stripping naked in front of a lady. He laughed. I never claimed to be a gentleman, and a lady can't fight like you do, so there's no point in that argument, Princess. She glared daggers at him now. I swear to whatever gods you worship, if you don't stop, enough with the idle threats. If you want to hit me for all the shit I say, then do it. And stop talking to me about it. Take some initiative, woman. Show me that Hellcat from that arena. He still laughed. Or was that just a show? Please tell me that that fierce warrior back there wasn't an act. He stopped for a moment, waiting for an answer. It wasn't. She took a breath to calm herself. I'm one of the best of Hadenshire. That's why I left home to fight. I thought I proved that when I defeated you. That's good to hear, otherwise I'm just a weakling who got beat by a housewife. He laughed once more. So you coming in or what? He undid his pants, holding them by the ropes that kept them up. Last chance? You go on ahead, I'll stay here with Quicksilver. She walked back to the horse and led him to a sapling that somehow had grown away from the forest, near the boulder where they had set up camp. She tied his reins around the small tree's trunk and patted his muzzle. Suit yourself. He dropped his pants and walked to the bank, stark naked and not caring who was watching. Valor had always seen his backside as he turned toward the river and closed his eyes. shaking her head. I didn't need to see that. Absolutely no modesty. She left the horse and walked around the camp, gathering bits of wood for a fire. Once there was a roaring flame in the middle of their camp, she went to the boulder, climbing on top of it to watch the sunset behind the trees. A while later, Sager came back, still naked and dripping wet. Forgot that rag. He went to his bag, not bothering to cover himself as he dug around inside of it, and after a few moments produced what looked like a towel and proceeded to drive off with it. Valerie kept her head turned away from him. Are you really that forgetful, or did you want to give me another show? A little of both, he grinned. Told you I don't mind if you look, but I don't want to see it. She shook her head. Please put some clothes on. If you insist. He picked up his clothes from the ground, shaking the dust from them before putting them back on. Oh, but I do. Still a prude. He laughed, tying his pants back into place. And you're still a pervert. I'm a man, he shrugged. Most of us thinks with our dicks and not much else. He flopped down next to the boulder, looking out towards the water. She looked down at him. So I've seen. First person to beat me in battle is a woman. He shook his head in disbelief. And what's wrong with that? Her eyes narrowed. Don't you dare say women are weaker than men. Or something equally as stupid, because I'll castrate you if you do. No, it's nothing like that. See, most women won't set foot in the arena, and I was as surprised as all to find a woman under that armor. Again, that was the point. She was quiet for a moment. A question. Yeah. If you had known I was a woman, would you have gone easy on me or made it your goal to end me? Nothing would have changed. An opponent is an opponent, no matter their gender. At least you're that smart. Her smile returned. I'm smarter than you think. But Laura. For once, he didn't call her a princess or a prude. I guess I'll have to find it out for myself. You do plan on coming with me to Hadenshire, right? Yeah, if only to just meet the women who trained you to be such a great fighter. Well, then we should get some rest. Hadenshire is about a day away from here. Okay. You got a sleeping bag or a bedroll or something? A roll. Rolled up and tied onto my bag. I'll get it in a moment. You? I'm used to sleeping outside. The weather don't bother me. I'll just sleep next to the fire. Whatever works for you. She jumped down from her perch, landing on her feet, and walked toward her bag. She untied the knot that had secured her bedroll to the bag and unfurled it, dragging it towards the fire. He crossed his arms and leaned back to the rock. I'll keep first watch in case we got company. All right, thank you. She spread out the roll, laying on her side. Wake me up after a while for the second watch. In a few hours, maybe I can get some sleep too. Fair enough. Good night.